And we're back once again, folks, with more of a work in progress for an episode that I thought originally was going to be 45 minutes, but it has spiraled out of control due to the fact of the many houses we were able to find for the lifestyles of the digitally rich and famous. Which I got a feeling we're going to end the show off with every week, mentioning these cool houses, neither that or mentioning high scores from you, the fans at home. But before we go into that planning process, let's continue talking about a couple of these cool houses. And the next one we have up comes from J4M3SK3V1N with his house, the Container House. And if you're wondering at home, folks, yes, this is a house that was built out of containers of shipping crates, which is absolutely cool. And it's a 5-level shipping container house that has 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, a game room, an exercise room, and even a bike garage, and a lot of balconies with a rooftop terrace and a lap pool. And as a matter of fact, this house sort of reminds me of the house I built for my sister back in The Sims 2 when she had to move in a whole bunch of her family members known as the Creations and had all these wild and fancy parties and had me build this house that was on a small lot up taller with more parts going upward, which seemed impossible at first, but after a while, I was able to pull it off. And not to mention, the parties for that house will be mentioned during a video game story. And speaking of video game stories and houses, I got a feeling if you decide to live in this house, it's going to be very cost friendly. And you can even expand upon it if you want, which is always a fun thing to do in The Sims. And not to mention, if you don't feel like taking the stairs for this said house, you can even add an elevator in certain portions to make it just a little bit easier. And you don't even need any expansion packs to use this said house. So I got a feeling I will be using this house again in the near future to actually expand upon it and upload my own customized version of it in the near future that hopefully J4M will be able to see. And the next house that we have up, folks, to move along here on this parade of homes, comes from the creator, Janet and Judith. Nice names, by the way, with their house, the Kyrie. Now, I was going to say Kyrie Zane from NXT/SmackDown Live, but no. It's an actual beautiful, and I do mean very beautiful, Western-style home that comes with a full fence spread, almost about to say a full fence spread, or a pen spread? I don't even know what wrong word I was about to say, but let's just say, folks, that this house is a 30 by 30 Western home with a full fence spread that surrounds the whole home, and even gives you an opportunity to have a two-car garage included for this said house, since apparently the English language escapes me today with trying to do the show. And the most beautiful part about this oversized house that it comes unfurnished, 1, so you can build upon it, but 2 is a 3 to 4 story house that can hold at least, well, from my creation skills, at least a good 5 to 6 rooms in this said house, all with separate bathrooms included. You know, if you're able to actually make a bathroom small enough that people can fit in. But the standard size bathrooms, I think you can get just about 3.5 for the bathrooms, and rooms just about 6. So if you decide to live in this beautiful house, you'll have no problems fitting in, and not to mention, you'll have plenty of space for all the cool things you plan on doing. And the only packs you need for this house is pets, late night, generations, and of course the high-end loft for these said houses. Or for said house that I just mentioned. And the next house that we have up, and I got a feeling it's probably one of the most unique houses that we're going to mention for this said show, comes from Anyana Yvonne with her house, The Underground Living. And this house is a house after my own heart because folks at home, this house is an underground house surrounded by a very large pool, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, and even a kitchen and living area above ground that you could use. So it's a makeshift bomb shelter with a pool surrounded by it with a whole bunch of trees that sort of reminds me of the secret bunker base that they had in the movie 007. Except that there's 1 room and 1 bath and not a giant oversized supercomputer that they had. And Maestro's correcting me right now saying that was the cradle, not the oversized bunker that they had during the beginning of 007, but the actual cradle with the giant computer in the underground sea base. Alright, you win this round, but next time, you talk about a house and see if you can get it right. But to get back on track, folks, for you to actually use this said house in your standard play, you need the Pets, Seasons, Generations, World Adventures, Late Night, Ambitions, and even high-end loft to use this home with all the items that it has featured in it. But if you don't have the items, you can customize upon it and make it your own. And as a matter of fact, I think I did something like this before for a family I had called The Riches in a video game story that we mentioned prior, where we booby-trapped the house so nobody can steal all the gold and riches we got from other parts of the world. Which was a good idea until I incinerated my boss, or my sister's boss, who was a master thief. But he got what he deserved. He shouldn't have been in my house. And the last but not least house that we have up for this big show that we decided to do for you guys for this week comes from Mutarvik with his house Makeover, which is a 1.5 bedroom and 2.5 bedroom house that looks like one of those houses that they would advertise for Hidden Valley. You know, the whole thing for Hidden Valley with the, ranch dressing and the beautiful house that's over in the countryside. This is a house that reminds me of it to the T, that comes with its own custom pond and even comes with a beautiful garden that arches over toward the pond. So not only you can fish, you can even get a chance to garden on the other side of this said pond for a beautiful, relaxing experience for your characters if they're overstressed. Yeah, the best way to de-stress them. But as a warning for you fans at home, this house is a 30 by 30 lot and it will cost you a minimal of at least, depending on the size, because sometimes the size of the house is what costs you, it's going to cost you at least 80 grand to live in. Unfurnished. I think it will cost you less than that, but 80 grand minimal for this said house. And the said packs you need for this said house to play it with the items that they have in it, besides a couple of the items from the exchange shop, is the Late Night, World Adventures, Seasons, Generations, University Life, Pets, Ambitions, and Outdoor Living Pack to actually live in this said home without any problems of them removing stuff from it. Yeah, just a warning and advisory. And if any of you at home want to go ahead and upload your own exclusive homes from The Sims 3, because I know several of you out there are still playing the said game over The Sims 4, you can head on over to thesims3.com and head on over to the exchange to upload your home to hopefully be mentioned a part of the digitally lifestyles, or the lifestyles of the digitally rich and famous. See, we need to write down that title because it's so long, and for those out there who's listening in, we will try to upload our own house, most likely one for Kafka Steel that we're going to be working on over the next couple of months, and we'll reveal to the exchange for you the fans at home. Yes, and I think this will be the first house we'll upload, but until then, from the lifestyles of the digitally rich and famous, Sim Meals and Caviar Dreams. You know, we need a better outro for that. I don't know. We're going to have to come up with something a little bit better for next month or next week's show when we get a chance to get to it. But until then, folks, Maestro, who completely forgot to blow the whistle, I'm gonna have to do it myself and say it's just about that time for us to... Real rude, Maestro. Real rude. But, besides your rudeness, you were right to ring that bell because, like I said before, it's just about that time for us to break camp. So before we do, we would like to thank each and every last one of you out there for listening in to this special 10th episode celebration of A Work in Progress. And apparently, one last correction from the Maestro that we got that house by Muttervik wrong, that it was 1.5 bath and 2-bedroom home. Yeah, but it was all in Russian, and I think my Russian was a little bit wrong, and yeah, I wasn't even in Russian, it was in German. Yeah, confusing myself to end off the show for this week. But to continue with the thank yous, we would also like to thank none other than Tekno AXE with his song Streetwalk Manifesto that was featured during the intro and will be played for the outro for this week's edition of A Work in Progress. And thank you once again, Tekno AXE, and hopefully in the near future when we hit 20 episodes, we can have you sing that song live. But that's gonna pose a couple of problems since you're gonna have to be... Well, let's see here. I think you're gonna have to be on the air around 3 a.m. my time, 6 o'clock yours. I'm not too entirely sure about the whole time zone in London, but yeah, we'll work it out. And we would finally, last but not least, like to thank each and every single last one of you video gamers out there for coming out with all those sweet, sweet houses that we had a chance to mention during this very show, and that will be featured hopefully in a video game story coming soon to a MusicVillage near you. And with everybody thanked, you guys out there, now we go out. I'm DJ Smokey, flanked by the Maestro as always, saying, when there's smoke, there's fire. And we would like to thank you as always for joining us as we try to figure out yet another work in progress.
Walk down the street, saying hello to the people I meet, and I'm killing my love underneath the sun, triggering down like the smoking gun. Yeah, I ain't got no plans, just a rusty voice and an empty gas can. My car's broken down a mile behind, and I've got my life set on rewind, baby. I ain't got no plans, just a rusty voice and an empty gas can. My car's broken down a mile behind, and I've got my life set on rewind, baby. Da